Hey everyone, thank you for watching again, and my latest video today is on the Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch Chewbacca figure. Now, when they first announced the Chewbacca figure coming out, as you all remember, they were going to put him in the orange style box, which I guess I'll start off with right away in the review. They ended up doing the blue style box so that he doesn't look so squished and whoops, sorry about that. So squished and just like discontorted in the packaging. But now, they gave him the big blue box and he fits perfectly in there. And just going over the packaging real quick, since we are kind of starting off with that. As you can see, number 4 Chewbacca at the bottom with the Black Series logo as well as the Star Wars logo. The blue stripe going at the top. And an image of Chewbacca at the top right corner. Flipping it to the back, I actually really enjoy the back with the quote they gave him. It's basically his roar, which I will not attempt in this video. And then just, you can pause it to read his quick little description. And then the image being the silhouette of him as well as Han Solo, which I do not have that figure yet. Just because, I never really was a fan of Han Solo, but since I have Chewbacca, I kind of need them both in a pair right now. So, jumping right into the figure itself, I'm overall, I'm very happy with how they made the figure. A few points that I kind of wish that were a little bit different or that they did a better job as far as sculpting and articulating. Not the articulation in the figure, just, the overall design of it. So before we actually get into that, let's just do a quick comparison in size. Here is the 6-inch scale Clone Trooper, if I can just get him to stand real quick. And come on, there we go. So you can see Chewbacca is a good, probably inch higher than the Clone Trooper. So Hasbro really is sticking to the 6-inch scale line as best as they can, and it's just a very good size figure, and one of the best balancing figures as well in the line. Even though the size, it's one of the largest figures, it does have one of the best and easiest posabilities. So, getting right into the figure, let's start off with his only accessory being his bow blaster, or crossbow. The one thing that I was really disappointed in the bow is that it wasn't all one piece, which they could have made, and because of that, this crossbar, which comes separate, just would not stay in the little peg hole. I guess the peg on the main body is too big for the hole in the crossbar part. So I had to essentially super glue it so that it can stay in, because it was getting kind of annoying having to see it pop out all the time. I think I used a little too much glue, but for me, I'm not a buyer seller, and given that I'm sure the Black Series aren't going to be a vintage style worth a couple of thousands of dollars in the future, I don't mind it, and it's not a big noticeable feature, I guess you want to say. So I'm okay with it as long as it gets it to stick and it keeps the crossbow appearance. Now this top piece also comes off. It was not separate in the packaging. If I can get that off. Okay, I won't get it off today, but it's a little bit snug in there. But if you kind of play around with it, it might come loose eventually, so don't worry if you think it broke. It's just all part of the gun itself. So overall, not too much paint on this, just a basic brush, black brush paint over it, a little bit of silver at the top, and not too much to the design. Very simple. Now getting into Chewbacca, whoop, don't want to butcher his name right there. We do get the single face pose, which a lot of people did complain about, I remember hearing, which I'm not, against it. Of course, he has kind of the cross eyes going up at the face, if you all can see that kind of better. But, it's Chewbacca, and I apologize if you hear the screaming kids. I have annoying neighbors, and they have no respect for my sounds, so my sound quality. So bear with me, and hopefully they don't keep crying over there. Anyway, getting into the satchel now, I'll just jump right into that. That is actually one of my biggest disappointments, is that they actually gave him a mold on his shoulder for the strap, which I really don't see the point in. I understand that, you know, it's used to actually secure the strap in and whatnot, but if you don't want the strap on, it just looks ridiculous, like a bad hair day, or, you know, when people wear a hat with long hair and it just molds in that position. I think that's just ridiculous and kind of a waste. I know I used to have the Saga Legends Chewbacca with the strap as well, and granted that wasn't anywhere near of a good figure like this, but they didn't put the little mold either, so that's kind of a little awkward thing they put on. And then overall, I think they made him a little too skinny and not too tall, because he's a good height, but just for his height they kind of made him too skinny, so Chewbacca kind of lost some weight for his role as a Black Series figure. So getting into the articulation, you know, both arms, you know, got the full rotation there, bending at the elbows as well as twisting and rotation. Rotation at the wrist and a little bit back and forth. No finger articulation. The head is very limited. I mean, you can't even move it back and forth because this is all one mold, so it basically hinders it, and even turning, that's as far as you are going to get. I'll take off this strap just to show the articulation a little bit better. So you have the body, or the torso, is kind of into three sections. There's the top, the chest part that turns and no back and forth. The midway that goes back and forth, and then, actually I guess it's only 2 points of articulation, the chest and then the waist. This is just the connector at the groinage area and waist area. Then you have the upper thigh, you know, just twist and then does go back and forth. A little bit hard because of this bottom, the waist piece as well. The knees are not double jointed like we've been getting in a few figures, but, you know, still very good rotation and the twist. And then the feet, you know, have very good articulation as well, twisting and back and forth. I also do love, I mean, I'm a very big fan of how they, you know, actually painted it. They didn't go the cheap way and just give it all one brown paint, or, you know, don't think we wouldn't notice it, but, you know, you can see all the different shades of like the lighter brown, a few dark spots here, the darker thighs and darker calf area, darker shoulders, even the head, they gave it more texture and more hues to it. And then around the eyes, if you can see that, if I'll zoom in, come on, there we go, you know, you can see the darker parts around the eyes, and he really does, you know, it does look like Chewbacca. We don't have to worry about him not looking like Chewbacca today. So we'll see if they bring out any more Wookiees, how the rest of the line will look. And overall, you know, they did a really good job with the whole fur look to it. Seems to all just be one mold, and, you know, doesn't seem like they worked too hard at it, but they did just enough. They did a very good job at it. So there we go. There's Chewbacca in the Black Series 6-inch line. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.